Hey everybody, it's Chris with the HyperCats Network, and today I just thought I'd show you how to make a mold box so you can pour your urethane rubber, this kind of stuff. And this is how I make the mold boxes for small parts like this. This would be a one-part mold. Small parts like these, this would also be how to make a box for something like that to pour rubber in, or for two-part molds, like what I'm going to be doing here. This was essentially a box like this with the piece in it. Mold rubber was poured on top of it, and then it was flipped over, and then more mold rubber was poured on top of that. And there's a lot of tutorials online on how to make mold boxes. They're very step-heavy and intricate. The ones that I saw when I first started out involved cutting sheets of MDF and screwing them together and using clamps and then sealing the whole thing and painting and all this intricate crap. But I've got a faster and easier way to do it if you want to just get into, resin casting your own parts. Like if you were going to make a one-part mold of something like this, or something this size where you just needed a box to hold the rubber so you could pour it in over top of it. So I've already gotten started here. Basically what I use is this cardboard, and anytime we have basically anything that comes in this thin, not corrugated cardboard type stuff, I save the box and then I just use it to make my mold boxes. So what I have here is the part that I'm going to be putting into a box. I need the box to be this exact shape. This is the first part of a two-part mold with the two pieces that I'm casting. So I need the box to be this size, but then it needs to be high enough to make sure that we have enough rubber to pour into it without overflowing over the top of the box. So what I do to start is I usually try to find a couple corners that already exist. So you've got two good straight edges right there and two walls. And then you want to make sure that your wall height is high enough so that you can pour rubber all the way past the height of this plus, say, 1/4 inch. So you've got it thick enough where it'll cover this and give you, some good depth to it. So then what I do is take a Sharpie and just draw. I've already got this laid out here. Draw the shape of it so you know which way it's going to go and where your walls are going to start. And then that'll go in here. And then, so now I know that it's about this high. It doesn't have to be precise, it doesn't have to be accurate. You want to have more, you don't want to have less. So if I had a wall that was, say this high, and I tried to pour enough rubber to cover these, it's going to flow over the edges. So you always want to have extra, and this stuff is, cheap. It's basically free cardboard. So it's always a good idea to just cut it big and then trim it to size later. So I got that measured out, and I got that much measured all the way around, because you can do, all 4 walls. And then right here I also drew this side and then cut it already. So we're going to have a box that is about this size. So then what we want to do is fold this cardboard along all 4 of these lines. And the thing that I like about using the ones with the edges already is I've already got these 2 folded, so I don't have to do that. So what I like to do is I take a piece of MDF or metal, and that gives me a good straight line. And you can just kind of line it up, press that over it, and that gives you a good fold, and then fold it back. So now I have a perfect straight line there. We're going to do the same thing for this one. And it doesn't have to be perfect, 90 degrees or square. This one's a little wonky, but it always still works. So now I've got this folded over, this folded over, this folded over, and this folded over. And then all you have to do is make 2 cuts on either side right up to where the edge of the wall and the floor would meet, right there in the little four corners. So you just cut 3 flaps there. We've already got one there, so I'm gonna just do a little fudging on that one. I got that one, and that's it. Sometimes when you make these, if you're doing a 2-part mold, sometimes since they're, you do a quick job on the first part, it might be narrow on one end and wide on the other end, and then when you put the part in the box you made the shape for, sometimes it doesn't fit. So I usually like to just put an arrow. This is which way is up, so that way I know that I'm building the box for it to go this way, so this rubber piece will fit in the box. But if you're just doing a 1-part, like if you just wanted a 1-part mold of this, you don't have to do that. This piece, this folds over, and then what we're going to do is, now that we've got these flaps cut, you can fold all these in, just like that. And then we'll trim off a little bit of the excess here. Now comes the really hard part, a roll of Scotch tape. And we're going to tape it. And that's it. So I kind of want to get it square. If you folded the box right, it should be fairly square and fairly perpendicular. I'm just going to tape this corner. Yeah, you can see that's not right. Squeezed it too hard there. So we'll just adjust that a bit. There. Get those corners lined up a little better. That's better. Okay. So now the rubber's not going to be able to leak through here because this is a fold. The rubber's not going to be able to leak through here because it would have to leak this way and then all the way around, or through this little corner right here. This would be a problem spot for the rubber to leak through. So to make sure that the rubber doesn't leak through there, oh, gotta be careful here. Oh, we put a piece of tape on it. Oh, that was so difficult. That's it. And then we just do a test fit, make sure this corner still fits the corner of this rubber. Yep. Still good, still good. So then we'll do the other side. And I like to do one side at a time just so you make sure that you've got... sometimes they don't line up perfectly square. See how I've got a bit of a gap here because this piece sort of ends right here. So what I'm going to do is cut a little triangular piece off of here just so I can fold this more. So we start wide, be about there. So now instead of being straight out, it starts over here and then goes that way, so it'll fold a little better. There we go. Yeah, that gives me a little more to work with. And then that'll be tighter to the walls of this on the inside. And then we put a piece of tape on this one. A piece of tape right here, I'll take that. And then we'll tape it down here. Now I used to do this with hot glue, which takes a while. And I used to cut each one of these walls and hot glue it into place. I've used hot glue, I've used duct tape, I've used carpet tape. Carpet tape's good, but it's expensive. This is probably the cheapest way to make a mold box. Because the only thing you'll need other than this, possibly, would be either a glue gun and some hot glue, or modeling clay. Any old cheap modeling clay. Like this is stuff you get at Joann's, or Michael's, or Hobby Lobby. The Hot Blob. And the only parts on this mold box that would leak would be the corners. So as long as you reinforce the corners on the outside, you've actually got plenty of time for the mold rubber to cure enough to not leak out of those cracks. I've been making these mold boxes since probably 2003. and I've been making them out of different materials since 2003. I used to try to do the fancy MDF, and then I was doing cardboard but heavily taped and glued, and but this is definitely the cheapest and fastest and easiest way to do it. So I could do, 5 or 6 boxes this way in the time it would take me to do one fancy box. But also, this only works on smaller parts like this. If you had something that was bigger, you're going to have problems with, you can already see on this one how the edges kind of bow out. It's a little bit trickier the bigger you get, and I'll show you a trick for that in a bit here too. Okay, so I've got my mold box made. It's a little bit loose, a little bit of room around all the edges there. You don't want to make it too tight, because if you make it too tight, well, for 2-part molds, if you make it too tight on the bottom part, it'll buckle, and then it'll distort the whole thing. But if you're just doing like a 1-part, like if you just wanted to make a mold of this piece, cover it with silicone or urethane rubber or whatever, usually you want to do about 1/2 inch all the way around. So, looks like all of our edges are sealed. I'm going to seal that one up there. And then another thing you'll want to do is make sure that you have the glossy printed side face in like this, because that side will absorb less rubber and mold release than this papery cardboard side. This has got a little bit more of a weatherproofing to it. So it looks like we're good. I can put a little bit of tape on each corner if I want, but this is really all you need to keep the rubber in while you're making your mold. And then, since this is a 2-part mold that I'm making the second part for, and I want it to be tight against the sides of the original rubber piece, what I'm going to do is take another piece of masking tape. I'm just going to make a strap, just like that, and that'll keep it kind of tight. And then if I wanted, I could do another one this way. Maybe a thinner one. Can I do it? Let's see if I can do this. Whoa, fancy here. Look at this, a half strap. Oh yeah, there we go. So now I can still pour the rubber in it. Everything kind of stays together. So that's all you need to make a mold box. Literally any kind of cardboard, masking tape, a pair of scissors, straight edge, and a little bit of clay if you need it. I usually don't, but what you would do is if a corner like this was leaking, you would take the clay and just kind of goop it on like that. So that's about it. Thanks for watching.